I missed the last meeting. I was wondering. Oh, you did? Yeah. Oh, yes. Sure. You're the intern. Sorry. Lady for the baby.
Just put one page up.
Just one page?
Oh, I was raised out. Check was raised out.
Yeah, I'm taking
I do that like once a week.
Okay.
I gotta have red beans once a week.
Younger siblings had a lot better. Wow.
That's what
That always happens.
that's what they tell me.
It's true.
I'm the one.
You had that. I can assure you had it better. That's the only one we was your dad a minister of? Man, I can assure you had that. Those youngest two, my youngest two sisters, and my youngest brother also, they definitely had it better than we did. Yeah, I guess he got tired of it. Even with us three oldest ones, he got better with the other three.
When Lynn does the welcome, I'm going to say exactly what we have up here. They can come pick them up.
That's unusual now. Okay. See out these glasses.
Romeo.
You have no idea. Yes, there's about 20 people in the middle.
Yes, sir. It's on here.
The other mic.
Hey, Representative. How are you? Two of y'all in the building. they can hear me without this. Mayor, excuse me, I'm not going to need this necessarily, but Mayor if I could have your attention, please. I'm Lynn Stewart, and I'm president of the Alexandria Human Relations Commission. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. It is extremely important as citizens that you have an opportunity such as this to participate in forums. The Alexandria Human Relations Commission is dedicated to improving human rights relations among all Alexandria citizens. Our commission is to eliminate discrimination and to establish equality and justice for all persons through civil rights enforcement and education. We trust that you leave this meeting tonight with a feeling of hope and belief that the City of Alexandria's Human Relations Commission is sincerely working toward equal and fair access to all in our community. Before we get started tonight, if anyone wanted to ask any questions of our speaker or anyone on the panel tonight, Sheila has some half sheets up there. If you like a piece of paper, you can write your question on that paper, raise your hand, and she'll pick it up from you at any time during the meeting. Also, there's a sheet up there that says comment contact form. If you'd like to fill this out, if you have a question for our guest speaker after the meeting, or if you'd like to leave this with the commission, you can tonight also. You don't have to put your name or anything on it. You just fill it out with your questions or your comments and turn those also back into Sheila, and it's something that we can look into for you or get back with you or whatever your request might be. At this time, I want to ask the Vice President of the Human Relations Commission, Reverend Willie Woods, to come forward and give our invocation, and after that, we'll have a reading by Mayor John Moore. If you'll stand, please.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
On behalf of the City of Alexandria, I extend greetings from several folks in the administration whom I'm going to introduce. And I want to thank all of you, especially Carmelita and the Commission, for taking the time to have this event. It is very important, as Lynn mentioned, to have dialogue. And so I'd like to introduce first Vaughn Jennings, who is a Workforce Development Chief for the City of Alexandria. We have Lisa Harris, who is the Division Director for Community Services. We have the Police Chief, Darren Kuti, who is here. And we have Joe Page, who is here from Human Resources at the City. These are all division level folks at the top of the food chain, as they say, in the City of Alexandria. I also want to introduce Herbert Dixon, Representative-elect, who is here. It's an honor to get to introduce my brother as Representative-elect for our region as well. And Clifford Moeller, who is here on behalf of GATA. He is the Executive Director of GATA, which is the Greater Alexandria Economic Development District that has an important function in this area. We also have, I think, some folks that are party level folks, Mary and other people here that represent people's interests here every day. We have some things coming up. We have some things coming up with regard to Martin Luther King celebrations that will be happening in the city. Lisa Harris and I have been working with the commission and some local pastors to try to increase awareness and things that we'll be doing for this year's celebration. In other words, we'd like to kick it up a notch, as Emerald the chef says all the time. We think that we need to do a little more, and there's a big reason for that. As all of us are very aware in this room, some big events happened last year. particularly in Gina, and we think that it calls for an address for our city and what this city brings to the table and represents as part of this region. And so I want to remind everybody, I often say that
these are the days
the
that
only thing that we shouldn't have time for is intolerance.
give me the
Maybe
taste,
even then you have to
give me
listen,
the
folks.
joy
Sometimes you
of
learn
summer
what not
wine.
to do. But you gotta listen.
These are the
Paul
days
Jennings,
that bring you
and I and others
meaning.
in the administration, particularly
I
Lisa,
feel the
we have
stillness
some
of
more
the
changes
sun,
coming. Have
and I
introduced
feel
some
fine.
what we think are meaningful and pretty big time efforts
Sometimes when the
to
nights are
provide for
closing
justice and
early,
equality. There are 3 programs that I'm going to make mention of tonight.
I remember
hope
you
all
and
of
I
you take
start
time
to
look into.
smile.
One is called AFEAT, A-F-E-A-T.
Even though now you don't want to know me,
This is something that Mr. Page
get
had
on
been working on
by.
many years ago, 20 years ago.
And I go
It
the
has to
extra
do with
mile.
developing people in this area and allowing
These
them
are the
to
times of
come to the
love
table
and
and share.
meaning.
Another program is AFEE,
Eyes of the
A-F-I-I, and
melted
finally
away
ABA,
from
that's
the
a bonding
light.
assistance program. It is important to remember when we talk
These are
about
the days
inclusiveness,
of endless
when we talk about
dreaming.
community-based planning, that we
Troubles
put
of
our
life
money where our mouth is. It's
away
not
like
just
a
work.
bird and fly.
So when this administration tells you
These are the
that it
days.
believes that there is a moral
These are the
necessity
days.
for a shared vision for growth for our area,
These
and
are
that we think there's an absolute necessity for a shared vision on economic grounds. You have to ask, okay, well, what do you do about it? Words are not. What things do you do to accomplish? People talk about different reasons that we should do it. One of the reasons we talk about you can't always get off on board with that, unfortunately.
I thought you
One
said
thing I
love
remind
would
people
last
is there's an economic model
forever.
for diversity and sharing resources.
Believing that the tears would
We have a
end
community that
for
represents a bunch
good.
of different flows. The way to make your community go forward is to
So that would get
use tap the
through
resources
any
all
weather.
persons.
Maybe that
Feel like
didn't work
good and bad
out,
about Atlanta as a model.
but we
There's a lot
did
going
the
on there.
best we
One thing Atlanta's done,
could.
and no one will take this from Atlanta.
These are the days that I've
Diversity
been
and harness that
missing.
power as a major city.
Give
in
me the
United States
taste,
to go
give me
forward.
the joy
You can see
of
the progress
summer
they made. Of course,
wine.
there are stumbling blocks. There are for us. There are for anybody. But
These
that's
are the
kind of
days
commitment
that bring
you have to
me
take.
meaning.
I believe that this kind of
I feel the
growth
stillness
attitude,
of the
positivity,
sun.
that's exclusive. I believe it's the
I
only way for us to move
feel
forward. People will always disagree. We disagree on treating our staff. We disagree with the legislative government. These people, they're always like, well, you're lucky your brother's here. I said, you don't know the Roys. We disagree more than anybody. That's how we have to convince him of things all the time. But we're taking these steps, and those 3 programs are one part of something that I talked about in this very room at the first debate that we had in the mayor's race, which was held by the Sinlaw Business League. I think the best debate that was had the whole time. And it's about what you can do as a community. It's about what you can do to bring people to the table. And that is show what you're doing. Right now in our division heads, ladies and gentlemen, we have better than 50% minority participation and close to 40% gender. That's a big, big feat for the city. And that's important because it means that you can pick the best and the brightest. You can get the best people to serve your city at this divisional level, one under the mayor, and you can still achieve it by reflecting not only the demographics that we always tend to think about, but there are other things you have to think about. There's not just gender and race, there's age, and ageism's a big thing. It gets hidden in a lot of other ways, but it gets out there too. We have to address those things. So we are putting our money where our mouth is from the administration standpoint. Ms. Jennings is going to be working on a community audit to help us get a baseline picture of our community and the things that we're missing on the workforce demand side of our area.
Forecasters
We also intend to do an industry cluster analysis, which is a fancy way of saying, do you need widget factories or do you need smidget factories? You have to look. Clifford is very aware of this. There's a study that just came out that I believe Clifford Cleta did which is
economic centerpiece
part of a group of
our
economic
history
regions,
and
including the
future
Chamber of
is
Commerce,
England
Cinema
Airport.
Business League, and others.
Former
And so
US
we have a baseline
England
industry
Airport
cluster
is
analysis
considered
that we're going to be
around
able
the
to
country
use. But I think there's more to do probably there to identify these
deal with
things.
military-based
We talked
closure.
about the bonding
Through the
program,
cooperation of
and
local governments
finally,
and government entities,
I believe,
including the
ladies and
Alexandria
gentlemen,
City
that we
Council,
need to
England
have,
Air
and this
Force
is something I
Base was
think the
reborn in
commission
the
could
1990s
play a big
as
part
England
in
Airport,
the next year or
home
two.
to an
And
impressive
that is
roster
an
of
inclusive
regional and
partnering or
national
close the
companies.
gap program. This is going to be one of the tougher
Development
things that we
projects
do.
totaling more than
There are
$200 million
institutional,
in
historical,
private
and
business
other
construction and
socio-cultural
renovation are
barriers
underway
that
in our
exist to
area.
start up
In
business.
addition to improvements in
And it's
roads,
just a fact.
water systems, air and
There are
rail
folks who,
transportation.
because
Union
of
Tank
where they
Company,
grew up,
Procter &
and
Gamble,
other
Plastic
different
Company,
things,
and
they can't get the
are
same
among the notable
access
businesses
as
that
other folks
recently
in the city.
located, expanded
And it's
their
not the
facilities,
form of
or announced
discrimination that's
plans to
invidious
locate to
or
the
intentional.
Alexandria Pine
It's a
Valley.
much more subtle version.
Union
It's
Tank Car Company
institutional.
will be fully
It's
operational
not
in
having the
2006,
grandfather or the
making
father
available
who
850
was in business as a
jobs
contractor,
in
right?
Canton
You can
to
walk
be
into that
located
business,
adjacent
and
to
there are all
the
kind of doors
Industrial
open
Air Park.
the next day for it.
Denver-based
Not everybody has
StarTech
that
Technical
ability.
Support Center,
And so we
which
need to
opened
come
its
up with
doors
some
in
close the
Alexandria
gap.
in 2004,
President
is
City
projected
Council,
to
Mr.
bring
Lewis
at
Marshall,
least 500 new
we
jobs
need
to
to
the
focus on
with an
ways
estimated
to
economic
open
impact
doors
of
there.
$20
And
million
it's going to call for
a year.
mentoring.
Across
And
the
that
river
means
in
a serious
Pineville,
commitment
Plastic
for
Pack
other
plans
folks
to
in the
construct
community
a
that aren't doing
$45
well.
million
They have to be-
and employ at least
They have to buy in
125
and be
workers.
willing to help
And
us
Procter & Gamble, a
bring
landmark
on
in
these new
Pineville
businesses
since the
and
1970s,
partner with them.
plans a
And to go back to this thing I talked
$125
about
million expansion.
inclusiveness makes money. Right now, the
A
federal
cornerstone of
government,
Alexandria
Carmelita knows
Pineville's
probably
thriving
a lot
marketplace
more than I do
is its
about it.
transportation
There are programs
infrastructure.
from the federal government,
This area
Clifford
is
as well,
served by
and the
Interstate
state
49,
government. I'm glad our
US and state
delegation is here
highways,
tonight.
a
That
navigable
allow
river system,
all kinds
an
of tax
international
benefits
airport, and
that will partner with
all of which
minorities.
combine to solidify
There are
our
folks all around
reputation
town
as
that
a
are looking for
regional trade
opportunities
center.
to get breaks left
The
and
Red
right,
River is
and
one
no
of
one's taking
Louisiana's most
advantage of these
important natural
programs.
resources.
And ladies and gentlemen,
Long
I tell you,
regarded
the
as
savings
key
there,
element to
these
the
are
economy,
massive
the river has
savings
provided not
on
only
business that's
transportation,
worth
but some of the
even
most
upwards
fertile
of $500
farmland
million.
in the country.
So you're not talking
Today,
about it
millions
only
of
helping
tons of bulk cargo are
somebody,
transported to
you're talking about from the
with
biggest
integrated
businesses to the
navigation
middle
projects.
range businesses to small
The
businesses.
Alexandria
So
International
there's the
Airport
incentive for
makes it
somebody
easy
to come in,
travel to
and
and
there's
from
the help for
Central
folks
Louisiana.
who have not had the
Atlantic
historical
Southeast
ability
Airlines,
to come
Northwest
in and
Airlines,
partner
and
with
Continental
you.
Express
All of that's
currently
important.
operate
And
daily
I'm
flights
close
to
with this.
Houston, Dallas,
We
Atlanta,
had-
and Memphis, while commercial
We had
carriers
a
provide
wonderful
freight and
display
parcel
of
service.
free speech
Located
here.
at England Airport,
just a
the
few months
airport
ago,
features a
September.
9,500-foot runway capable
It
of
was
handling
strange to
most of
me that
today's large
in
aircraft,
2007,
including military
now in
transport.
2008,
A $39 million project to expand the space of the existing
once again talking
terminal will
about
increase its
nuisance
square footage
of
to
all
6
things.
times the current
As you
size.
know, from jokes with
Downtown
it to
Alexandria
serious
is growing
displays
rapidly
and
as more
even
than a dozen
serious
projects
displays
are in the works or in the
to me
planning stage.
indicate or even incite
The
violence.
Alexandria Urban
They're
Master
back on
Plan
the
calls
rise
for renovations
in
to
a
existing
significant
buildings,
manner.
as well as the construction of new
And I want to
retail,
say that
offices,
what
apartments.
I witnessed here as a
$1.9
37-year-old,
million
I didn't get
urban
to grow up
streetscape
in the city
project will
in the
dress
civil
up the
rights movement,
sidewalks and major
what
intersections.
some of you in this room got to witness
It's
firsthand
easy to do
was
business
a little
in
version
Alexandria
of what people
thanks
can
to
do
its
when they come together
progressive-minded
and
civic and
peacefully
business leaders
demonstrate.
who all work
Ladies and
together
gentlemen,
to
the
build
day
a
that occurred here in
business-friendly
September,
environment.
when we had spillover from Gina and people chose to use this as a jumping board or even just a place to come together and express ideas, was not only peaceful. I need you to get this, how important this is.
Seasonal
Not only not one
celebrations are
arrest,
abundant
not
in
an
Alexandria.
incident, not an
One of our
incident report
newest is
filled out,
Riverfest,
not
held each
one
summer in the
complaint
downtown area.
by a business owner or anyone else about anything.
Riverfest offers music,
That's what happened
food, and
in
fun
September.
for the whole family.
Now, I had some
The
concerns
Central
earlier, the
Louisiana
commission and
Mardi
I
Gras celebration is another huge
started working together on it. I
series
think some of those
events
concerns are
that include
alleviated.
children's
Again,
parade
this is
in downtown
Carmelita's
that
province,
draws
but
more than
we got
25,000
concerned that
viewers.
what's going to happen next is there going to be a backlash or a counter
that
demonstration,
has
if you
grown
will,
each year.
to what
Attendance
happened
is
here.
estimated at more than
And will those folks
110,000
be the
revelers
same
from the local area
peaceful,
and from around the state.
I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it, folks who just came together to express their differences and engage in free speech. Well, as you know, we've looked into some of those things, or some of you know. Not all folks are
The
peace
city of
loving.
Alexandria hosts
Some people
many
want to come in
opportunities
and
for
incite
live
violence.
music during the year.
Some people tell you that up
Brown
front.
bag
They tell you, we're
concerts
coming
are
to your
Friday
city.
lunchtime
We're going to do
events
everything
in
we can
downtown
to
Newport.
engage police
Everyone's
force and
invited
others.
to bring a bag
There was
lunch,
some white
a
supremacist
lawn
group
chair,
that
and
frankly
enjoy
has
the
a
free
little
show.
concern. I don't know what's
Brown
going to
bag
happen.
concerts are held during the fall
I don't
and
know what will
spring.
happen in the next few
Watch
weeks.
local
I think
listings
she
for
can
dates.
speak more to that. But I just want to tell you, I
Downtown
believe our community
is another
can handle
recurring
anything
outdoor concert series
that has to do with
features
free
some of the
speech. I
best
believe Alexandria
musicians
can
in
handle it.
Louisiana.
We
Held at
showed
6
that
p.m.
in
on
September,
Fridays,
and I thought it was a
Downtown
great
Rocks is
testament to
free
this,
to the
to this
public.
area. What we
Refreshments
won't
are
handle
served
and
by
can't
area
handle
vendors,
is
and
when
the
free
atmosphere is
speech
enjoyed by all.
crosses that line
Check our website
into
or
inciting
for the
riots
next Downtown
and
Rocks
criminal
concert
behavior.
series.
And so I think we all need to be prepared, not only in our churches, but in our communities, to deal with that. Because remember, when you have one counter movement, some of our young folks will say they're wrong and they'll want to
Camp
engage.
House is a
That's-
classic
it's
example
natural.
of
It's
French
what happens.
colonial
That's what
architecture.
happens, especially
Standing on
with
the
kids.
original land grant from the King of Spain
They
to
get
Pierre
feisty, they
Valier
get
II,
fired up, and we
it
have to
offers
be
a
prepared
glimpse
to
of the
deal with
French,
that as a
Spanish,
community.
and
This is
American
just an honest
cultures
assessment
influenced
from me
Louisiana.
and from the chief and
All
what
three
we've seen
flags
and what
fly
we look
over the
into.
nation.
But I do want you to know
Plantation
that
House is
what
one
I
of the
witnessed in
oldest standing
September
structures in the
was
state of
a
Louisiana.
life-altering thing for me,
Together
and I
with its
think for all the
outbuildings, it
folks
preserves the
that
homestead
participated in
of a
it. It
successful
was a
Creole
grand day,
family
it was a
typical
beautiful
of
sunny day,
Louisiana
and
colonial
I
era
think people,
working
by all
plantation.
accounts, no matter how you feel about the Gene incident on either side, you cannot deny that that day was a perfect example of what free speech is all about. And so that's what we hope to move toward as we approach Martin Luther King. And I hope that the commission, I know they're behind it. I hope all of you will help us to deal with any of those problems. And for me, people talk
Over
about
500
apologies and whether people are willing to say they're sorry about things. I am sorry. And I am
South
sorry.
America and North America are
Nuisance are
exhibited in
being displayed.
environments that resemble
I was
the
very
natural
sorry
habitat.
that the last
A variety
bus
of
leaving the
special
city of
events and
Alexandria,
educational
right down
programs are
there,
held throughout the year.
the last bus on a
Musical
perfect
entertainment,
operational
feature
day
guests,
from our
and
standpoint.
fun educational
Two
activities
kids,
for
not from here, by the way, not from our city or even our parish,
Yeah.
two kids chose to come and display nooses to these folks. Had a gun in the car, I think one of them had a KKK tattoo, but they were clearly doing it to incite. But the irony was, they couldn't incite them because the folks that were leaving laughed about it and thought
Alexandria
it
is
looked
pleased
silly.
to have numerous opportunities
But I was
for children
concerned, I drove
to join
straight
in
over.
organized recreation.
And I said, look, I'm sorry
Youth
about this.
baseball
I didn't
and
want the
softball,
last taste of
basketball
Alexandria
and
to
soccer
be.
leagues for
Not
boys
after the
and
day that I
girls,
went through.
and golf and tennis for all.
Reverend from the crowd
Just a
walked
few
forward
of
and
the
said,
venues
Mr. Mayor,
available for young
this
people
is on
to
tape. I
develop
hear it's on
athletic
YouTube or
abilities
whatever, but I
and
haven't seen
establish
it.
lifelong
A
friendships.
gentleman walked forward and said, Mr. Mayor, the last taste of the city will be you saying what you said. We're not concerned about that. I said, well, Reverend, don't say that, because if we try to look for any kind of hate crimes into this, they're going to say y'all weren't scared anyway, and you won't be able to prosecute them. But the truth is, it was some kids. That's not forgivable just because they're kids. They were plenty old enough. One was 18 to know what they were doing and why they did it. And so I hope that we'll approach these festivities that we're going to have with exactly what you've outlined as the commission to be the theme for that time period. I'm sorry I talked so long, but I wanted to warm you up about where we're going. And I hope that you'll be able to participate, and we'll continue to participate in these festivities. Thank you very much.
At this time, I would like for the commissioners, if you will, so everyone will know their names and know who in the community is on the Human Relations Commission. They're going to introduce themselves. We'll start with Mary.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Ms. Stewart. I'm Mary Wadsworth, member of the so many commissions, the Human Rights Commission, and also a part of the Alexandria Weed and Seed Program.
Hello, I'm David Harris, part of Human Relations Commission, and also Weed and Seed.
I'm Rosie G. McQuire, member of the Human Relations Commission, also Weed and Seed.
I'm Willie Woods, Vice President of Human Relations Commission and also pastor of New River Temple Praise in Alexandria.
I'm Robert Thompson. I'm a commissioner on the Human Relations Commission, and I'm retired.
You say you retired now?
I'm Derek Hills, pastor of Newman United Methodist Church, and also commissioner here on the Human Relations Commission.
And I'm Lynn Stewart, a member, president of the Human Relations Commission, and I'm the chief deputy in the Rapids Parish Registrar Voters Office. Rosie?
It's here. That's a man that can mention like.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Our guest speaker this evening is a woman on a mission. It is probably that few persons in this day or any age have touched life at as many points as this person has. She strives daily to help build peaceful relationships between the community, organizations, religious and corporate America, schools, and colleges. Our speaker jurisdiction covers 5 states: Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. One of her career highlights is when she served a tour of duty in New York City to work attack on America, issues at Ground Zero. She worked with the National Muslim Merchants Association, the Arab America Family Support Center, and the committee to help rebuild Manhattan. Currently, she is involved with disaster aftermath, issues related to Hurricane Katrina and Rita. Her 41 years of federal, state, and city government experience includes 26-year career with the Internal Revenue Service, where she held executive management positions at the branch, division, regional, and national level in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and Dallas, Texas. Prior to her IRS career, she was employed with the Los Angeles Police Department, where she last served as Chief Darrell Gates' Team Policing Task Force. This program later became known as community policing and has been implemented nationally throughout law enforcement agencies. In California, she served as a volunteer chaplain, mostly at San Quentin Penitentiary. Our speaker has been working with Alexandria Human Relations Commission for about 6 years. And we have always thought that we were her favorite organization. She always calls, she checks on us. She wants to know if there's anything she can do to help. But today we were able to find out that we are her favorite organization. It is with a great honor that I present to you Mrs. Carmelita Pope Freeman, Southwest Regional Director of Community Services, Department of the United States Department of Justice. Mrs. Freeman.
I kept waiting for her to tell y'all how I referee soccer, coach soccer. Had the nerve to be the first female coach. And went over to England and Ireland, and they wouldn't recognize me.
I would like to call to order today the Personnel and Insurance Committee meeting to order. Present myself and the committee, Mr. Silva, Mr. Hobbs, other members of the council, the administration. The first item on the agenda is to consider final adoption of an ordinance amending the 2007-2008 operating budget, adding a community outreach coordinator position in the Community Service Division. At this time, we're here for the administration and Ms. Lisa Harris.
Mr. Johnson, this position is actually one that was created in the civil service system for the Division of Community Services. In the past, the position actually dealt with the Safe Streets program, which is a national crime prevention program, which we currently do not have, but something that is lacking that the position did, it was a liaison between the neighborhood groups and the city, and being that the division has picked up a lot of other activities, we're actually wanting to have another program position in the division. It has been filled in the past, but it just hasn't been budgeted in the last 2 fiscal years. And we're asking that at this time the budget be amended to include it in the division.
We've heard from Ms. Harris, and information in regards to this position. Any questions from the committee, other council members?
Yeah, question. What, why we do it, I'll let you ask, related to that directly.
Okay.
No, what I was saying, this person would just be strictly dealing with neighborhood groups, that's what you're saying?
Well, that was one of the one of the aspects of the position, that it did liaison between the neighborhood groups and the city. There are other programming tasks at the position, actually. There was a community program we had, Project Enable. There's other programming aspects that we have in the division that this position actually could take and assist in. We have the festival coming up, the Queuing on the Red, and there's other things that the position actually could assist. We would go through the normal civil service process. It is a civil service position, and we would have to work with the Director of Civil Service to fill the position. It's not anything, it's not a new position at all.
No, we don't, just a different name.
No, it's the same name. It was the Community Outreach Coordinator. It's always been named that.
I thought you said it was Safe Streets.
Well, actually, that was before I even took over in the division. It was the Safe Streets Coordinator, but I think the position was presented to the consultant and it came back as Community Outreach Coordinator. The last time it was funded, it was under that name.
Okay, can I get a motion in a second that we accept this comes from Ms. Lisa Harris as Director of Community Service Division? Okay, moved in second. Further questions? If not, we recommend it for full